There are over 600,000 bridges in the United States. That is a lot of concrete, a lot of steel, and apparently a lot of opportunities for civil engineers to absolutely lose their minds. Most of these bridges are fine, boring even. You cross them, you forget them, you move on with your life. But then there are the other ones, the ones that sit 900 feet above a canyon floor. The ones where the deck sways in the wind and there is nothing between you and the ground except a few aging bolts and the quiet hope that today is not your day. Welcome to America's 10 most terrifying bridges. These are real bridges in real places, and every single one of them has earned that reputation the hard way. Let's count them down. Number 10. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge in Maryland. This one makes the list not because it looks dangerous, but because it exposes something most people would rather not admit about themselves. The bridge is 4.3 miles long, rises to 186 feet above the Chesapeake Bay, and stretches across open water with nothing on either side of you for miles. Maryland actually operates a bridge escort service for drivers who cannot bring themselves to cross it. You call a number, a driver shows up, gets into your car, and takes you across. When a state government has to build a formal anxiety management system around a piece of public infrastructure, the bridge has already told you what you need to know. It sits at number 10 because plenty of people cross it every day without a problem. But plenty more do not, and those people have a phone number saved in their contacts just in case. Number 9. The Lake Pontchartrain Causeway in Louisiana, 24 miles long. At the midpoint, you cannot see land in any direction. Just flat water, open sky, and the slow realization that you are more than 12 miles from shore on a 2-lane bridge that opened in 1956. For 8 continuous miles of this crossing, the shoreline disappears entirely. The speed limit is 65 miles per hour, and in severe weather, the whole structure closes. But on the days it stays open, tens of thousands of people drive across it anyway, apparently comfortable with the idea that there is no exit ramp, no shoulder, and absolutely nowhere to pull over if something goes wrong. Commitment is one word for it. Number 8. The Sunshine Skyway Bridge in Florida. 190 feet above Tampa Bay, and it carries a specific kind of history that the view from the top does not let you forget. In May 1980, a freighter struck the original bridge during a severe storm with near-zero visibility. 35 people fell into the water below. The original structure was demolished. The replacement opened in 1987, runs over 4 miles, and is widely considered one of the most structurally sound cable-stayed bridges in the country. The crash barriers on the current bridge are rated to stop a vessel up to 87,000 tons. They installed those after the accident. Progress on a delay. Number 7. The Grandfather Mountain Mile High Swinging Bridge in North Carolina. The name Swinging Bridge is doing a lot of work here, and it earns every syllable. It is 228 feet long, suspended between 2 rocky outcroppings at 5,305 feet above sea level, and it moves. Not metaphorically, physically moves. Wind gusts at that elevation regularly exceed 40 miles per hour, and the bridge responds to all of them without being asked. The views are genuinely spectacular. The experience of standing on a wooden plank walkway that is visibly in motion while you are more than a mile above sea level is what some people call thrilling. What most people's legs call it cannot be repeated here. Number 6. The Royal Gorge Bridge in Colorado. For decades, this was the highest suspension bridge in the entire world. It hangs 956 feet above the Arkansas River. The deck is made of wood. That is not the engineering detail you want running through your head when you are looking down through the gaps at a river that looks like a thin blue thread from that height. The bridge opened in 1929 and has held for nearly a century. A gondola, a funicular, and a sky coaster have all been added to the site since then, presumably because the bridge alone was not generating enough stress hormones per visitor. The fact that it has worked for 95 years is genuinely impressive. The fact that the deck is wood remains a choice. Number 5. The New River Gorge Bridge in West Virginia, the highest steel arch bridge in the Western Hemisphere at 876 feet above the New River. It carries US Route 19 across a gorge that used to require a 45-minute detour just to bypass. The crossing now takes under a minute. Once a year, on Bridge Day, the structure closes to vehicles and opens to people who want to bungee jump off it. Over 100,000 people show up to watch this happen in person. The bridge itself moves measurably in response to temperature changes throughout the year. Engineers call this thermal expansion. Everyone else calls it the bridge moving and adjusts their grip on the railing accordingly. Number 4. The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. You know it. You have seen it in every film, every postcard, every piece of California marketing produced since 1937. What those images consistently leave out is that the deck sits 220 feet above the bay, and that winds regularly hit 60 miles per hour at the bridge's location. In extreme conditions, the 4,200-foot main span has been measured flexing laterally by up to 27 feet. The bridge has closed to traffic multiple times due to wind since it opened. The engineers accounted for all of this in the design, and the math is correct. Watching a nearly mile-long bridge flex back and forth in real time is still not something the human nervous system processes as comfortable, and the math does nothing to help with that. Number 3. The Mackinac Bridge in Michigan. 5 miles long, connecting the upper and lower peninsulas across the Straits of Mackinac, where Lake Michigan and Lake Huron meet. Wind speeds at the bridge regularly exceed 50 miles per hour, and on high wind days, state police escort certain vehicle types across at controlled speeds. Parts of the bridge deck are open metal grating. That means on a clear day, you can see directly through the road surface to the water 200 feet below your tires. Some people describe this as an interesting design element. Most people's knuckles describe it differently and at considerably higher volume. Number 2. The 7-mile bridge in Florida. Running 6.8 miles through the Florida Keys over open ocean with no shoulders and almost no barrier between the travel lane and the water. The original structure was built in 1912 as part of Henry Flagler's Overseas Railroad and was considered one of the greatest engineering achievements of its time. The replacement opened in 1982 and still carries U.S. Route 1. In hurricane season, the entire Keys highway system closes and this bridge goes with it. There is no alternate route south. If you are already driving toward Key West when the weather changes, the answer is a long drive back the way you came, and a night you did not plan for. And number 1. Actually, before we get to number 1, a quick note. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge is genuinely terrifying, and a reasonable argument could be made for putting it here instead. That argument is wrong. Number 1 is the Coronado Bridge in San Diego, California, and it earns the top spot not because it looks the most frightening, but because it does not look frightening at all. That is exactly the point. The San Diego Coronado Bridge is 2.1 miles long, curves gently over San Diego Bay, rises to 200 feet, and from any reasonable distance looks completely manageable. The curve in the deck was engineered specifically to give Navy aircraft carriers enough clearance to pass underneath. Structurally, the design made sense. The barriers along the edge measure low by modern safety standards. On certain sections of the curve, oncoming traffic is not visible until you are already very close to it. Safety advocates have been calling for barrier upgrades on this bridge for years. The conversations have been documented, the hearings have taken place, the barriers remain at their original height. What makes the Coronado Bridge the most terrifying structure on this list is not what you see when you cross it. It is what the design quietly permits to happen, and the fact that the full picture is available to the people responsible for changing it, and the response so far has been to leave it precisely as it is. That is America's 10 most terrifying bridges. All of them are operational. Most of them you can cross today if you want to. Whether you should is a question this channel will leave entirely to you. Drop your location in the comments and tell me which one on this list is closest to where you live. I want to know if you have a reason to be concerned.